Linus Ullmark has arrived after a bit of a rocky start that wasn't altogether unexpected. The Bruins netminder has put in some fantastic performances as of late. We're going to talk about what was on Saturday against the Calgary Flames, award the big bear of the night, and talk about so much more on today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Podcast Network, Locked On Boston Bruins specifically. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things spoke to be, as well as take a look around the NHL. Today is Monday, December 13th, and I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Boston Bruins your first listen every day. We are free and available on all podcast platforms, as well as on YouTube. So please smash that subscribe button. Each new episode will be automatically added to your feed for you to download, listen, and enjoy. You can also get a view into my living room. And Bessie has decided to jump on the camera this morning. Say hi, Bess. Please get down. So please do subscribe, podcast app, YouTube. Very much appreciate all the support for the podcast and hope we can continue to keep growing as 2022 draws near. If you're on Twitter, you can follow the show at Locked NHL Bruins. Same handle on Instagram. And you can find me, my dad jokes, hockey tweets at Ian C. McLaren. Now, heading into the Western Canadian road trip, I expected the Bruins to come away with maybe 3 of a possible 6 points. Probably beat the Vancouver Canucks and pick up a point from the Alberta portion against 2 very good teams in the Oilers and the Flames. The Bruins, of course, lost in a shootout to the Canucks and then beat the Oilers on Thursday and finished off the road trip with a 4-2 victory over the Calgary Flames on Saturday to get 5 of a possible 6 points from this road trip, which is fantastic. Assistant coach Joe Sacco, who's filling in for Bruce Cassidy, who's on COVID-19 protocols, should be off now, I think, as they get home and start practicing for tomorrow's game. We'll get to that in a moment. Sacco said credit to our group in the third period for responding the way they did the last 2 games, sticking to it and playing the way they want to play. It was a successful road trip, 5 out of 6 points. Not an easy trip, especially the travel, back-to-back. Guys were sick coming into the trip. And Brad Marchand added, we've got to be happy. This is a tough road trip with the travel that we had and back-to-back. Coming here, the way Calgary's playing, obviously Edmonton has been really good lately. They have the 2 best players in the league. Vancouver's buzzing. They've actually won 4 in a row now under head coach Bruce Boudreau. And Marchand added, we're starting to find our game a little bit better, relying on different guys each night. And you saw that on Saturday. One guy who really stepped up for the second straight game was Linus Ullmark. He turned away 41 Calgary shots to give the Bruins their second straight win. He was particularly strong on the penalty kill, denying the Flames on 10 of their 11 shots with the man advantage. In the 2 games against Edmonton and Calgary, he stopped 81 of 85 shots and allowed only 1 5-on-5 goal. Sacco said it was another solid outing. Came up big, especially in the first 2 periods when the Bruins were hemmed in their own zone a little too much. He made the quality saves when the Bruins needed them. Goaltending has been good lately and giving them a chance to win. He added, hopefully Linus can continue to find that success. He's tracking the puck very well. Competitive in the net. That's the biggest thing. Competitive in there. Give yourself a chance. He gave the Bruins certainly a chance to win. Now, Ullmark described how he's thriving alongside Jeremy Swayman as the Bruins goaltending duo pushes each other to improve while literally embracing a healthy competition we've all become accustomed to, and getting a lot of joy out of seeing them raise their hands in the air after a win, no matter who is in net, and giving each other a big old hug on the ice. Ullmark said he pushes me to become a better goaltender every day, goes out there and he plays his heart out. That keeps me motivated and keeps me on my toes. He said he knows that if he ever has a couple rough starts or whatever, Swayman's going to pick up the torch and keep playing for the Bruins. He's a terrific goaltender. A lot of friendship going on there, but there's also a lot of pride. They each want to play every night, but whenever there's an opportunity for the other guy to play, the other guy is very supportive, and that's what you want to see from a goaltending tandem. Kind of the old goaltender controversy angle, kind of dead in today's NHL, as most teams rely on two goalies to play, night in and night out. So whenever the other guy is in net, you just got to support the team and do what's best for the team. He has now, this is Ullmark, put together, 4 strong starts over his last 5, dating back to November 20th. 952 save percentage against the Flames, 953 save percentage against the Oilers. He had one dip where he allowed 2 goals on 16 shots against the Red Wings. But prior to that, he beat the Canucks with a 947 save percentage and beat the Flyers with a 935 save percentage. He hasn't allowed more than 2 goals since November 11th. That's over those 5 last starts. And he has raised his season save percentage to 921, which is fantastic. Let's be honest. That's a great mark for a goalie. Now, Swayman and Ullmark have near identical stats. They're both 7-4, although Swayman is 7-4-2. Ullmark 7-4-0. Swayman with a 922 save percentage. Ullmark is at 921. So the thing that I've been really talking about many times throughout the season is how the Bruins have been regularly outshooting the opposition, getting more attempts, high danger chances, but they weren't getting the goaltending early on, and they also weren't getting the 5-on-5 scoring. And that came in this one as they got goals from Connor Clifton, 5-on-5, Brad Marchand, Charlie McAvoy, and Curtis Lazar. No power play goals for the Bruins in this one. They went 0-for-2. So to get that 5-on-5 scoring is huge, and to get that goaltending in a game where they are outshot by 15 shots is very important as well. So good on Ullmark for standing tall. The Bruins finally getting a bit of, I wouldn't say puck luck, but generating those opportunities and cashing in on them. And they escaped. No, I wouldn't say escaped. They emerged from this Alberta road trip with 4 points from the Oilers and Flames, which is very impressive, and 5 out of 6 overall from the Flames, Oilers, and Canucks. Before we move on to the big bear of the night, a quick word about DirecTV. I want to tell you about a simple way to get all the entertainment you love without the hassle. DirectStream brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, which means you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. The best part, there's no annual contract, so stop waiting and get your TV together with DirectStream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Thank you again for making Locked On Boston Bruins your first listen every day. Again, free and available on all podcast platforms as well as YouTube. So please do subscribe. The YouTube numbers are going up, which is very encouraging to see, and would really mean a lot if you would hit that subscribe button. Now, last week against the Edmonton Oilers, I started awarding the big bear of the night that goes to a player, an unsung hero who kind of filled the stat sheet in any given game. And I'm going to give it to Connor Clifton this time. He scored the game opening goal near the end of the first period, assisted by Trent Frederick and Anton Bleed. Some important depth scoring there, making a contribution. He had the goal. He had just one shot on net, but he chipped in 5 hits, 2 blocks in 18 minutes and 55 seconds of ice time, including 3:15 shorthanded. You may have heard me say before that, I'm not convinced Clifton is a full-time defenseman at the NHL level. He's a great 7th defenseman, can come in if someone's injured. And he, made an impact in this game for sure. And all credit to him for stepping up and scoring the goal. And also, chipping in with those hits, getting physical, mixing things up. And the Bruins have been talking about getting back to that identity of being tougher to play against. And they certainly did that on Saturday against the Flames. The Bruins have struggled to score at points this season, particularly at even strength, something we've talked about all season long. They only had one 5-on-5 goal through the first 2 games of the road trip, and that was Matt Grzelcyk's game winner in Edmonton. But again, they flipped the script on Saturday, scoring all 4 goals at even strength, including Clifton's, and then McAvoy, Lazar, and Marchand. Sacco said in the second period particularly, they made some good hockey plays, pucks to the net, good possession down low. Big goal was the one in the third period to kind of put things away, make it 4-1. That was scored by Curtis Lazar, again, assisted by Trent Frederick. He was a Big Bear candidate as well. 2 assists, 2 shots, and 2 hits in this one. It was great to see that depth scoring step up for the Bruins. Marchand noted that a little bit of puck luck goes a long way, and this was one of those nights. Again, they were outshot. Haven't been getting that 5-on-5 scoring. They were ranked 32nd in the NHL in that category. Marchand say we've got a lot of pucks to the net this year. Haven't necessarily gotten the breaks that you hope for as a group. But if they continue to do the right things and put pucks to the net, eventually they're going to go in, and it happened on this night. One thing they've been harping on is taking care of the details. And, they came through. Curtis Lazar added the insurance goal, his second goal in 4 games. And again, the fourth line factored in significantly on the opening goal as well. So that was very important for that line to step up. Sacco said they were very good. They had good juice. They skated well, played a solid game. You could tell that they had probably not had the ice time previously that other lines had. So they had a little bit extra in their game, being a bit fresher perhaps. Frederick in particular, Sacco said if he can continue to build his game in this direction, be hard on pucks, move his feet, be physical, certainly brings an element to the group that they need, and good for him for chipping in with those 2 assists, his first career multi-point game. So he's definitely, we'll say, Big Bear number 2 in this one for the Boston Bruins. There was a sense that perhaps Eric Haula is better served playing on the wing. He hasn't really excelled as the third line center. Looked much better on the wing playing with Coyle and Smith. So I saw in a Fluto Shinzawa article this morning the suggestion that perhaps Frederick would jump to the third line center role and put Haula on the wing. That could be something that we see as early as Tuesday evening against the Vegas Golden Knights. That is Boston's next opponent. They're at home to play Vegas. A bit of a tough opponent, but then they have 3 very winnable games throughout the rest of the week. They play the Islanders on Thursday night in Long Island. They've only won one game so far in their new arena. Then they play on Saturday in Montreal, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then 5 p.m. on Sunday in Ottawa. So Islanders, Canadians, Senators, three teams very much behind the Bruins in the standings. And to get these 5 out of 6 points, come home, regroup, try to beat the Vegas Golden Knights, and then head out onto the road for 3 very winnable games. They have an opportunity here to pick up some points before the holiday break. They do end this part of the schedule with a couple toughies at home before Christmas. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Colorado Avalanche on the 21st and the 23rd. But for this week, some very winnable games for the Bruins, and we will, of course, break it all down here on the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast as it develops. Still no movement on the Jake DeBrusk trade request front. He, of course, went on the road trip. He played all 3 games, put up a bunch of zeros in Saturday's game against the Flames after scoring against the Oilers. No points, no shots, no hits, no blocks, nothing. So very quiet in this one, and might be reaching a breaking point here with Jake DeBrusk. We'll see if anything transpires here in the next couple of days. The holiday trade freeze, I believe, goes in effect on the 20. Maybe it's even earlier than that. I'll have to double check when that goes into effect, but there will be a holiday trade freeze, and he'll be locked in for like a week or so as the NHL protects their players from having to be traded or moved over the holiday break. Before we get to some news and notes from around the NHL, a quick word about Built Bar. The holiday season is here, and you can grab the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, sometimes even better than a candy bar. Built Bar is filled with so much holiday goodness, rich with decadent flavor, covered in chocolate, but amazingly low in calories, sugar, net carbs, and fat. And a high protein. You can get the best of both worlds, delicious and healthy. There's so many flavors, and Built Bar gives you that extra fuel you need to bust down the mall doors, battle the holiday shoppers, and also to get through a variety of family gatherings that you might have to attend over the next couple weeks. Tell Santa to throw in a couple of Built Bars in your stockings as well. They're great stocking stuffers, and they're also perfect for cozying up with a Christmas movie. Dip your Built Bar in a piping hot cup of hot chocolate. Let it melt a little bit. Give your beverage a bit of that Built Bar flavor. Especially the marshmallowy treats that they have in their Built Bar puffs. Light, fluffy, through and through. Different flavors, all covered in chocolate. They taste amazing. Go to Built.com right now. Use promo code LOCKED15, and you'll get 15% off your next order. That's Built.com, promo code LOCKED15, 15% off your next order. You don't want to miss all the deals they have going on over there. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. Football continues its march to the playoffs. Pro and college basketball in full effect, as well as hockey, boxing, UFC. Head to their new updated website right now. Sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit by using promo code LOCKEDON. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. Again, get that 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit by using promo code LOCKEDON after you sign up for a free account. All right, let's check in with some news and notes from around the NHL prior to jumping in to a new week. Steve McFarland out in Calgary wonders if DeBrusk would flourish with another team in the same way Sam Bennett has since the Calgary Flames traded him to the Panthers last season. Bennett, similar story, first-round pick, requested a trade after struggling to reach his potential, seeing his role with the club reduced. He has now blossomed with the Panthers, and that was a deal that wasn't rushed either. That one took some time to marinate. McFarland noted the Bruins do seek a player of equal value for the 25-year-old, and the Flames might be trying to convince them to take a look at defenseman Nikita Zadorov as the Bruins look for a physical defenseman. Zadorov's $3.75 million cap hit is comparable to DeBrusk's, and perhaps the Flames would have to include a sweetener with Zadorov to further entice the Bruins. However, he's not really the best option perhaps out there, and I'd like to see the Bruins maybe reach a bit higher. Perhaps they could package Sean Monahan in there, although he hasn't been the same recently after going through some injury issues of his own. The Board of Governors meeting last week, they talked about NHL player participation at the Olympics. Alex Pietrangelo has expressed some concern about the COVID-19 protocols in Beijing. He's not sure if he will participate. He was already named to Canada's roster along with McDavid and Sidney Crosby. He said he's got 4 kids under the age of 3.5, one of them. For him to be potentially locked there for 5 weeks, plus the Olympics, a long time to be away from his family. Chinese law states people who test positive for COVID-19 face a quarantine period of between 3 to 5 weeks. And, that could be prohibitive for the NHL and for individual players who could back out of participation rather than risk a lengthy quarantine without pay if they contract COVID-19 during the Olympic tournament. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Elsewhere around the NHL, we will obviously update the Atlantic Division power rankings over the weekend. Tomorrow. But the Bruins, with the points that they picked up, they are now soundly in the 4th position in the Atlantic, 625 point percentage. They're 10 points behind the Maple Leafs with 4 games in hand, 8 points behind Tampa with 3 games in hand. So again, if they can pick up some of these points against very beatable teams over the weekend, then we'll be not talking as much about rebuilding and talking more about what they should do prior to the trade deadline in order to try to make an impact at the in the playoffs. I believe that's it for today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins. Thank you so much for taking some time to listen today and for making Locked On Boston Bruins your first listen every day. If you're looking for a second listen, I recommend the Locked On Bets podcast, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets is hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling, free and available on all platforms. I hope you all had a great weekend last night. Checked out the Succession finale. All of you who listen know that I'm a huge fan, and the finale certainly did not disappoint with such drama, big twist at the end. I was really blown away by it, and can't wait for the 4th season already. And tonight, going to be catching up on Yellowstone. And then, of course, tomorrow night, the Bruins will be back in action against the Vegas Golden Knights at TD Garden before another 3-game road trip. That's it, friends. I hope you have a great start to the week, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow here on the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day.